Hey there, Parker Reed here, and welcome to PR Media, your home for everything movies and music through my eyes. And today we have a review of the new 4K Ultra HD Blu-Ray edition of Possessor, Uncut. Possessor is a 2020 science fiction psychological horror film written and directed by Brandon Cronenberg. In the film, Tasia Voss, an elite corporate assassin, takes control of other people's bodies using brain implant technology to execute high-profile targets. So this review of Possessor is a unique one for me. I've never reviewed a movie's 4K transfer on the day it actually comes out. This did not go to theaters or any streaming services prior. It came out on physical media and digital services on the same exact day. So I'm coming at this review from an interesting perspective, so I will review a little bit more of the movie than I would normally because this can kind of double as a movie review. The best way I could describe Possessor is it's a Christopher Nolan kind of concept, but with some schlocky horror and a little bit more graphic horror than I'm used to thrown in there, and the story is a little bit lacking for me. The idea that some people are possessing other people's bodies to execute hits feels like they're not taking full advantage of that concept. You could be doing a lot more things with it, and perhaps they are. We only got a small little snippet of this universe in this movie. There's only a couple different hits that they execute, but I would have wanted to see something a little bit more grand in scale. This was very low on the rankings as far as what they could have done with this concept, and it gets a little bit convoluted at the end, which I didn't love. I won't give away a lot of spoilers in it, but some of the graphicness of it was a bit much for me. You could have cut away from it. I don't think adding that extra horror in there really did anything for it. It just felt kind of self-indulgent and self-congratulating. Like, look how brutal this movie is. We're going to add Uncut really big on the cover because it's so brutal. You're going to love it. You're going to see Sean Bean's eye get gouged out. Sorry. Spoilers. And when things like that started happening, you had me like,
run.
So as far as the movie goes, I didn't love it. I love some weird movies. I love some psychological horror movies, but this just didn't do very much for me. And just like his father, David Cronenberg, Brandon Cronenberg's directorial style, it's just not my thing. It looks pretty good as far as just kind of a cinematography perspective goes. It's very unique in that sense, but this movie just didn't jive with me. I'm sure a lot of other people like it a lot more than I did, but just not my favorite movie. So if I had to give the movie a rating, I'd probably give it a 6 out of 10. But should you pick up Possessor on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray? Let's find out. So if you decide to pick up Possessor Uncut on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray in the United States, you just got the one version to pick from. It is the standard edition slipcover. We've got this cool poster art here with some nice yellows and blacks. And on the back we have some technical specs, still imagery from the film, as well as some information on the special features. And if you didn't already know that about 4K, it's 4 times sharper than full HD. So I guess they're getting the information out there 5 years into this format's lifespan. And unfortunately my slipcover came a little bit mangled. I did store pickup for it at Best Buy, and it is a little bit ripped. Not their fault, but still annoying. When you open it up, the case looks the same as the slipcover does. And then we've got some cool disc artwork here. Here is the 4K disc. Then here is that Blu-ray disc. Sorry, no digital download to give away on this one. Wasn't included. So for visuals on Possessor, we have native 4K 2160p, and this is full screen, so you will not have any black bars at the top or the bottom. And this looks phenomenal. It uses HDR very well, and it uses the entire scope of the screen very well. It looks really good. There's a lot of deep blacks, a lot of deep yellows and deep grays. So I enjoyed this from a visual standpoint. Sure, it didn't blow anything out of the water because this didn't have as big of a budget as some of like the Marvel titles or the Lord of the Rings titles did to really get that extra detail on people's faces. It looked very good. This was a typical average 4K transfer, if not a little bit above that. It didn't blow me out of the water or anything, but it wasn't disappointing. It looked very good, and it added to the overall experience of watching Possessor for the first time. Then for audio, we have a DTS HD Master Audio 5.1 mix, and this does the job again. Sure, sometimes it was hard for me to hear dialogue, but that was so minute that it wasn't extremely noticeable. For the most part, you can hear, and I think some of the times I couldn't hear things, you can chalk that up to just the overall landscape of the scene. I wasn't meant to hear everything to its fullest extent. Kind of relate it to when I watched The Witch for the first time. Some of the scenes, they're designed so you can't hear characters very clearly, and sometimes that happens in this movie, so be aware of that. It is a stylistic choice. It's not a flaw of the audio track here. Sure, would I've wanted Dolby Atmos on this release? I didn't expect it, so the fact that it's not there, it's not really that disappointing to me. Overall, the audio was decent on this release. But would I recommend Possessor on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray? I'm going to say pass on this one because right now it's $27.99 for this movie. That is way, 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 way too expensive for this. This movie is not near that quality. And if you're going to have to wait for 6 months to a year for this to drop below $20 and get to like $15, $10, it's just not worth it to me. And I don't think the movie's that good. If it comes up on a streaming service, maybe check it out. But I don't think anyone should feel the need to own this physically. It was more of a direct-to-video movie with the way it was executed. And it was just disappointing, so I would stay away from this one. But to see the actress who played Mandy be in this movie, that was pretty cool, so it has that at least. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked what you saw here, you can check us out on Facebook or Instagram, and like, comment, and subscribe if you so choose. My name is Parker Reed. You've been watching PR Media. Keep supporting physical media, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.
Sometimes that small thought is all it takes to lose control.